We're off and running.
We're doing a great job.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate you. How's your Saturday going, man?
It's been good. Sad that college football is basically over. Some great games to watch in the past few days here, but college football is gone. And watching that officiating crew in the Tampa Bay Carolina game made me sick to my stomach. But I think I'm officially over it. How are you?
It was funny because they were highlighting that side judge that was he was like the longest tenured guy for like 30 years, and he completely blows a call. Like, all right, buddy, time to get your cell phone out of the league. But yeah, it's a hard job trying to spot the ball on those type of things. But
yeah, but they have an instant. They have instant replay. They have all the technology in the world, and it's actually getting worse. Yeah. So I digress.
There was definitely some questionable stuff there, but I'm doing well. Having a good Saturday. Happy New Year, everybody. Belated Happy New Year. And yeah, let's get right into it. We are not brought to you by Snap, Crackle, and Bach Rice Krispie treats tonight. Hopefully, knock on Booker's table. But welcome to the Sideline Podcast. This is episode 66. And we love talking sports, building community. If you're not already subscribed on YouTube, go ahead and jump over there. Hit the subscribe button. We'd really appreciate that. We love talking sports. Building community, we're releasing stuff all the time. And yeah, we'd really appreciate you supporting the show in that way. Tonight, we are talking, we've got the 49ers and the Seahawks duking it out for the number 1 seed in the playoffs. We're going to be reacting live to that as the evening goes on. There's so much to talk about in football right now. College football playoffs are buzzing. So we're going to hit on some semifinal predictions. And then, yeah, we'll get into our NFL game picks. A few less picks this week. It's a sad final weekend of the NFL, but that means the playoffs are right around the corner. So I, for one, am excited. So we have a special TSP walk-on, and I hope YouTube doesn't kick us off for this, but we will see. It's not actually a walk-on. We've got a little video clip here from Dan Lanning talking about the college football playoff, the transfer portal, his way to perfect this. And I thought this was a perfect way to send us into our college football storylines. So, yeah, without further ado, here's Dan Lanning talking about how to fix the football playoff, the transfer portal, all the shenanigans that have been happening.
Better way. And I think it really starts with the season moving up and the playoffs not having. I mean, how many days, Coach, is it for you between us and your last game?
We played December 6th, and I'm 100% with him about moving the –
yeah, ultimately, in my mind, the vision for this should be, every playoff game should be played every single weekend until you finish the season. Ideally, the season, even if it means we start week 0 or you eliminate a bye, the season ends January 1st. This should be the last game. It should be the championship game, and then the portal opens. And then coaches that have to move on to their next opportunities get the opportunity to move to their next opportunities. Certainly, there's some conversation about when high school signing day should be. I think that could go either way because most of us now try to get guys in as mid-year players, and you want them to be able to join your program at semester, which is a challenge. But I think the first really clear indicator of a place that we can make this better is to wrap the season up. Our national championship game this year is January 19th, right? And that's really hard to envision as a coach that's going out and trying to join a new program and start a staff. It's hard for players to understand what continuity looks like and where they're going to be at, and to manage that with visits, the portal, everything else that exists. I think the clear indicator and the clear way to do that is to bump the season up, right, and make sure these playoff games happen a lot faster. And I've got a ton of respect for the NFL, but we're a prep league for the NFL. We do a lot of favors for the NFL, right? We're the minor league in a lot of ways, but there's no money paid from the NFL to take care of college football, right? And in that sense, we've given up some of our days, right, to the NFL. We said, you guys get to have this day, you get to have this day, you get to have this day. Saturday should be sacred for college football, right? And every Saturday through the month of December should belong to to college football, in my opinion.
I know that scratches you right where you itch on Saturdays being sacred for college football. So,
amen, amen, brother.
Let's go ahead and bring Duffy in here. What's up, Duffy?
How's it going?
And we'll get right into our college football storyline. So that's where I wanted to start us is the college football playoff. Championship's not going to be played until mid-January. We saw yet again this year the teams that get the bye do not necessarily have the advantage in some of these situations. And whether it comes down to coaching and prepared, I mean, you see an Ole Miss where their coach is up and left. I loved everything that Dan Lanning was saying there with shrink down the schedule, take the NFL, which that's gonna be hard to do from the NFL. Like now that they're in Saturdays in December, I don't know if that's going to be very easy to win, but I just think it makes a lot of sense. What are your thoughts on that? Does it make sense? Is it possible? Can we do less bye weeks in college football, or is none of that going to happen until we get a commissioner?
I think it makes a lot of sense, but it comes down to the almighty dollar, unfortunately, and that's what has created this mess to begin with. And so it sounds that all makes complete sense. And from a coaching standpoint, that is the way to maximize the quality of the product and maximize the time and get people into seats and take care of the players. And he's absolutely right. The NFL owes college football quite a bit, but the NFL kind of does take over and do what it wants. And so I don't think it's going to happen. I think it makes a lot of sense, but I don't think it's going to happen because it's about the almighty dollar. So what do you think, Duff?
Yeah, I think it is about the money, and I think it's sad. I think especially now what you're seeing is with guys that are on competitive teams, or teams that are playing the college football playoff, their season runs so late that they, like Landon kind of said, it's that schedule with finding visits and figuring out where you're going to go gets really difficult for the players. I have a buddy that was on a team that played in the college football playoff this year and is now in the transfer portal. But I'm in college right now. My classes start January 12th. If the team he was on would have kept winning, then it doesn't finish his season until the 19th. He has to find somewhere new to go in the middle of now a semester that's already started. I think it's a problem for not even just the football side of things, but the actual being in college part of things as well for the players. So I think it's a disaster. I think they got to make changes to the schedule mainly more than anything.
Another thing, I was watching the Orange Bowl and I made several comments on X about how, man, this stadium is 70% full. And a majority of the comments that I get back are there's not enough time for these fan bases. They find out they win, and then they got to get to Miami, Florida from Eugene and make that happen. And then if they win again, they just keep – so, there's not enough time to make sure people are filling these seats, but then there's too much time because we're starting to bleed over into these other deadlines and it's extended out. And so just the fact that it's a 12-team playoff now, and now people are talking about let's extend it more. So, because Notre Dame missed out and all that. It's it's already too much. And I think the diminishing returns bell curve is now happening where it's all about money, but you can't even fill Hard Rock Stadium because there's not enough time. So there's competing interests here, and it's just not working.
And I think it goes back to a commissioner. If it's one person talking to Roger Goodell, and let's figure this out. We can put 5 games on a Saturday, and 2 of them be NFL, and 3 of them be college. We can figure it out. We have the power. We clearly will watch 16 hours of football when there's London game, morning game, afternoon game, Sunday night football. It can be done. I just think it's a matter of working out those logistics, and but until we get a commissioner in college football, I think it's just going to continue to be a mess. So, what other storylines top of the mind for you fellows on this fine Saturday?
You want to talk about a mess? Please. I'm calling it right now. The SEC is no longer king, and I hate to say that because I am an SEC guy. They are 4-9 in the postseason. And I pulled some numbers here the past 5 years. So the 2019 season, they were 8-2. 2020 season, 6-2. 2021 season, 6-8. 2022 season, 7-5. And then last year they were 5-4. And so just this gradual decline. And I think you can probably mark it. Once NIL came in, transfer portal, just seems like it's constantly open. In some ways it's good. It's evening out the talent. People are moving and making more conferences competitive. But the SEC I believe the SEC used to be the clear-cut top of the line, and it's no longer there. 4-9 is horrendous. That's the only other conference is non-conference, like the group of 5, that because they lost in the playoff. But any other conference has a better bowl postseason record than the SEC this year. And would you say that's good for football or bad for football? I probably know the answer, but
yeah,
I mean, I think good for football, bad for me and Booker. You know,
Yeah.
just takes away most of our arguments about the football teams we watch. But,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
it's a bold take coming from an SEC homer like yourself, but I think it's spot on, man. I think it is spot on, and the trend because I was dead wrong on that Vandy game, but those Iowa kids, like I don't know how many, they probably have very few people in the transfer portal, and they all, and that Vandy only had one player in the portal, so I don't think that impacted that game, but on other SEC schools like a DJ Lagway, all these quarterbacks are just dipping out, and it's until they figure out the logistics and the schedule, I just think it's going to be a mess. And maybe the SEC is done, like you said there.
I actually looked though. The Big Ten had more opt-outs than the SEC did.
Wow.
And they are still at 9-4 in this season in the postseason. So
yeah.
Changing of the guard. Now there's 4 kings.
Yeah, there you go. How about you, Duff? Any storylines?
Yeah, I'll go with, we had this conversation before the playoffs started about whether the G5 should be represented in the way it is now in the playoff. And I was just wondering if anyone had changed their mind on that after we've seen mostly blowouts this whole playoff. We've seen 2 or 3 good football games.
I think the G5 belongs. I think I'm standing with it. They expanded the playoff. I still think they belong. And then I know that you were pulling for Texas Tech. I thought Oregon was going to win, but I ultimately was pulling for Texas Tech as well. But they were unable to score on Oregon. And I know in that Oregon JMU game, Oregon had some second stringers and third stringers rotating throughout in the second half. But JMU was able to put up some points on that Oregon defense. And so I think that's just a case that they do belong.
Yeah. I still believe they don't belong, but when Texas Tech gets held to 0 points, you see what Miami defense is doing to good teams. It's like, all right, maybe JMU should get a shot. I still think there should be 2 of them in there. I think they put a sympathy extra team in there this year because they couldn't figure it out. But in general, I think there should be a second level championship for them to fight over. We want to see the best football. And I think some of the stinker games that we've had is more the time component than those aren't the best teams, where JMU, Tulane getting beat is not a time component, is they just don't have the horses to compete with an Oregon or Texas Tech or Ole Miss, So yes and no. I know I don't have much to stand on for this argument, but I'm still sticking with kick the G5s out of the college football playoffs. One
thing is objectively true though. The bye week is a death sentence.
Yeah.
And that needs to be fixed. I mean, our team's going to be, this isn't even on my list of storylines, but if they keep the format the exact same, our team's now shooting for a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 seed. No one wants a bye week. Indiana is the outlier, and I think it's completely a product of their coaching and the type of quality and character players they've got on that team. But goodness gracious, a bye week is not a gift at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me ask you guys this. Who would you say sorry, 1 second here. So best offense, best defense left in the playoffs is a storyline for me. Indiana, Ole Miss clearly have been juggernauts. You could probably put Miami they have a good offense. I'm skeptical of Carson Beck. Who would you say has the best offense left in the college football playoff? Are we talking Ole Miss or Indiana? And then right after this one, we'll go to who's got the best defense as well.
I think the best offense is Indiana. I think you named them, Indiana or Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss is, between Kewan Lacey and Chambliss, incredible. And then just the steadiness of Fernando Mendoza and that wide receiving core, and that O-line is just dominating. And so I think you put up any defense against Indiana and they are so balanced, they find a way to put points on the board. So I'd say Indiana probably edges out Ole Miss because I think Ole Miss might be a little one-dimensional. Although Chambliss can run the ball like a madman as well. But I do put Indiana with a slight edge personally. What about you, Duff?
Yeah, I'm along the same train of thought of you. I just got the opposite. I think I'd go Ole Miss just because I think they've got a little bit more of an explosive side to them versus, like you said, Indiana's really balanced, really grinded out. But I think those two are head and shoulders. I wouldn't say head and shoulders better than Oregon, but I think they're both considerably better than both the other two. Way better than Miami. I think Miami's offense is inept.
Yeah. Carson Beck is just so inconsistent. Although at this point, the way that defense is playing, and I know we're going to get into defenses, but the way that defense is playing and Mark Fletcher, Carson Beck just needs to not turn over the ball. Just manage the game. Don't turn it over.
Yeah, I think if you put Chambliss or Mendoza on Miami, it would be a completely different story, and that's the key difference there. Ole Miss, I'm all aboard the Ole Miss train just because, I mean, of the noted Lane Kiffin hate, but I think they've got a little something there of the motivation of, you know what, our coach didn't want us, the chip on the shoulder. Like I think they got a chance to go on a little bit of run there. I thought Georgia was a legit contender, and for Ole Miss to win that game in the fashion that they did, I think it's going to be very interesting on that side of the bracket. So how about defenses? Similar question, a little bit different. Again, I think we all agree Indiana is pretty much the best overall team in the country this year, but Oregon shut out Texas Tech. Miami crushed an Ohio State team. Who do we think has the best defense?
I'm having a hard time. I mean, Indiana has the best defense, I think, hands down, but I'm having a hard time not choosing Miami. Watching Miami against Ohio State, and I know Ohio State basically sat down on their couches. I'm sure they practiced with it and had 12 pep rallies between their last game and that playoff game. But the way Miami handled business against Ohio State, that was pretty incredible. And Ruben Bain, I want that guy on the Bills, man.
Yeah. Duffy, who would you say has got the best defense?
Yeah, I'm going to go Miami. I think that front seven has just been dominant for most of the year. They had one or two bad games, not even bad games, just didn't play up to their standard for the year. But I think at this point, if you're Miami, I think you're happy if you score 20 points. I think you have a decent shot of winning a football game the rest of the way out. So,
yeah, that Miami D line is something.
It's absolutely
if that
nasty.
can throw less than 3 interceptions, they're going to be in most games. So, any other final storylines you guys have before we get into some preview of the semifinal matchups?
I think for the sake of time, I just want to say this. Kurt Cignetti is not Nick Saban. I will say that. He is not Nick Saban yet. I actually think Nick Saban and Kurt Cignetti will be mentioned in the same conversation in 10 years. If you look at the way Cignetti has been able to move from team to team to team and build a program and improve recruiting, and the way he just builds and rebuilds is incredible. And so one little stat I want to pull up here, Nick Saban's college record, 292 wins, 71 losses. Kurt Cignetti's college record, 144-37. If you double Kurt Cignetti's games, you're looking at a trajectory that is not too far off from Nick Saban. And Nick Saban came into an SEC team that, yes, was struggling, but an SEC team nonetheless with a lot of history. What Kurt Cignetti has been able to do at Indiana is absolutely unheard of. And so if he stays there, and like, people want to come play for that guy. And so I think Kurt Cignetti is going to be mentioned in the same conversation as Nick Saban in the future here. What do you boys think?
Go ahead, Duff. Go ahead. Take it away.
I think the Indiana has been probably the most impressive rebuild job in college football I've ever witnessed, and I think it's pretty much entirely due to Cignetti. And really, more than anything, I hope he stays in Indiana, because if he builds something awesome there, then that's great for Indiana. But it'd be interesting to see him somewhere that has abundant resources for football.
Yeah.
It seems like he'll be loyal. It seems like he'll be loyal to Indiana, though, and it's probably too early to say. But the fact that he can recruit and he's clearly identifying the right people in the portal to bring in there makes me think he does have that ability to look an 18, 19-year-old, 20-year-old in the portal in the eyes and be like, hey, come win at our program. Look at what I've done. So I think he can do it, and it seems like he's going to be loyal to stick it out with Indiana, especially if they win a national championship this year. I mean, what else does he need to do? He doesn't need to go pull Lane Kiffin and go to to LSU or somewhere like that to win a national championship. He's willing to do it right where he's at. So yeah, I think that's it's bold, but it's definitely not that far off.
I'm loving all these comments, man. Mr. Diesel is carving his own statue of Signetti out of corn stalks currently. So I think that statue in bronze will be outside that stadium in no time. And it wouldn't surprise me one bit if the Hoosiers win the national title this year, man. They look good.
Absolutely. All right, let's move along here. So here is our updated bracket. As things currently stand, we've got Indiana versus Oregon and Miami versus Ole Miss in the semis. Really excited for these matchups. So let's we're going to take a moment here. This first round, we've got 2-round boxing match here. Not actually, but Tyler and I, and then obviously Booker and Duff, you guys can jump in here. But Tyler, welcome to the show. Why don't you take it away? Give us why Indiana is going to pummel Oregon in the rematch. Let me pull this up for you here. 1 second. Indiana won the first game 30-20. That game was in Eugene. So why is Indiana going to pummel Oregon in this second semifinal game?
Gentlemen, the only thing harder to do than beat IU once is to beat IU twice. That's just plain and simple. The first time they got to play them on their home field in the rain, trying to slow down that high-powered offense. Listen, California even tried to do it to us too. Thankfully, they squeegeed the hell out of that field and got it all cleared off for us, and we were good to go. But it's not raining this time. We're going to get some good weather. We're going to get a good game. And even with the losses, I just feel like they have become a tougher team since that Oregon match. I think there was a lot of pressure on that match. That was finally their chance to go prove and plant their stake in the ground as a legitimate contender in the Big Ten. And I think they got that shook off. They had their close calls, and now they are just a well-oiled machine going through these playoffs.
Good luck, Kevin.
Yeah. See, full disclosure here, we were trying to get 2 different Oregon Ducks fans on the show to defend Tyler. I'm going to try to defend Oregon, even though Indiana looks like a wagon. So Oregon, don't come after us on X. But my reasons is the Ducks defense, and it's really difficult to beat a team twice in 1 year. And so I just think that is the only chance. And then my biggest reason is Dan Lanning is a psychopath. And I know Signetti is a much older psychopath, but in the best kind of way, the competitive will of Dan Lanning, I think, could put his boys over the edge in this kind of a game. They've been there before. I know Sig's been in some big games, but I think the experience in big games, not just the experience coaching, could be the difference. But yeah, how you think you're going to put up 30 points again on this Ducks defense?
Oh, I absolutely think they're going to put up points. You got Sarah. Everyone's been making an appearance now. There's been the rise of Becker. This kid has come on at the end of the season to open up the downfield game so much. He looks so great on those routes. And the 1-2 punch of Hemby and Black is just absolutely unstoppable. You get one just pounding you over and over again down the field, and then all of a sudden, like you saw in the Alabama game, there goes Black bouncing off a couple players, and he's into the end zone. So not only do you have to deal with the Heisman-winning quarterback, Mendoza, but when you're dealing with Indiana, you're also dealing with a fierce run game, 1-2 punch.
Yeah, I need Oregon. They ran for 80 yards, 2.7 a carry. I need Dante Moore running the ball a lot more, and I need them to run the ball a lot in this game. It's really going to be their only chance to play keep away and lean on that defense by playing less of it. And so, and keep giving Mendoza less possessions because he has been carving up everybody. So Booker, Duffy, who's winning this so far? You guys be our referees. Man. Any other thoughts you want to add in, reactions?
Lanning is a psychopath, but I'm sorry, man. Like that Indiana defense, they're number 1 nationally in turnover margin. They create about 2 per game. In the red zone, they score almost 90% of the time. Mendoza has 36 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. Dante Moore has been too inconsistent. Anyone can have a down game, but when you look at Dan Lanning and the way he coaches, I love the intensity. I love how he hypes up his guys. I mean, the last time he played Washington, he had a UW helmet in the locker room and he crushed it with a sledgehammer. I love that. But Curt Signetti knows how to keep his guys steady stable. They're not looking past Oregon. They are gonna show up ready to play. And Dan Lanning, I love the emotional roller coaster, but they're in the playoffs now. That steadiness is what's needed, and Indiana is the picture of steadiness. So it can happen, but I think Indiana is going to take this one. What do you think, Duff?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Oregon, and I think Indiana. I think Indiana is the best team in the country, but I'm going to pick Oregon because I agree with Kevin that Dan Lanning is a psychopath. I think he's going to get his eventually. Like, he's still yet to really break through the surface. He's viewed as one of the best coaches in the country, but hasn't really picked up that. He hasn't picked up the big one. Hasn't picked up national title. Hasn't played for one yet. So I think he's going to get his eventually. I think that happens now, and also. There have been allegations of a powdery white substance being used by Dan Lanning, and I think if he has ample access to that, I think he'll be juiced up enough to get the boys going. So,
I love that, and we're not talking about snow.
No, snow from Lubbock would be, yeah,
that's the correct one. Yeah, that's going to be a game, though. That's going to be a game.
There we go. Any other thoughts on that one before we move to the other semifinal?
I don't have any. I'm hyped up for this next one.
All right. So we have Miami versus Ole Miss. This is matchup, really good offense versus really good defense. We just mentioned that a few minutes ago. But, who's going to win here? Is it the offense or the defense? Booker and Duffy will give you guys 4 minutes on the clock. I don't know how much time we actually took there. But go ahead, take it away. Duffy, why don't you go ahead and start us on this one?
Yeah, I think this is a really interesting one because I do not think Ole Miss has a very much of a stable defense. Like, there's times where they have flash, the pass rush really gets after it. The secondary can play well, and I think Miami's offense is inept. But I think on the other side of the ball, you've got probably the best defense versus the best offense left in this. So it's going to be really interesting. I'm going to go Ole Miss. I think that there's a little bit of what you said, Kevin, with just a little extra motivation with everything that's happened, a little team of destiny vibes. And also, I think the offense is going to be a little too explosive. If they take the top off once or twice, I think it's going to be too much for Miami to be able to score enough to keep them in that game. So I'm going to go Ole Miss.
Disagree, but I'm a huge fan of you as a person, Duffy. But here's why Miami's going to win this. So Miami has allowed 17 total points in two college football games, and yes, that includes Ohio State. We talked about the front seven for Miami: Reuben Bain Jr., Akeem Mesidor. They sacked Ohio State 5 times. Their run defense allows about 2.8 yards per carry, which is top 5 nationally. They have a better turnover margin. I just can't see Ole Miss. Now, full disclosure, I like Ole Miss. I like Pete Golden. That's no secret. So I am secretly pulling for Ole Miss here, but I think Miami is just too hot. And so, but the key is going to be Carson Beck. If he turns the ball over a bunch, if he doesn't manage the game, then Ole Miss is going to have a day. There's only so much that defense can do. But if he can manage the game, I think Miami kind of feels like the team of destiny as far as I don't think they're going to get through Indiana, and then if they win this game against Ole Miss, but I just think the way they've been playing in that defense is playing with their hair on fire. I can't see it happening. So that defense needs to be able to contain Chambliss as well. Obviously, Sayin is not a mobile quarterback. And gosh, who did they? Wow, I'm spacing now. Who did they just play?
Miami?
Yeah.
Just played
Ohio State.
Ohio State.
No,
yeah.
What their last game was Ohio
They
State.
played A&M and Ohio State.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, that's the last. You're right. That's the last game they played. Chambliss is going to be a key here as well. So put it on the quarterbacks. I guess that's probably par for the course. But yeah, that's why I think Miami's got this one. Do you guys agree, Kevin and Tyler?
Go ahead, Tyler.
So I do think that Ole Miss is the one that takes the win here. I think that Miami is great. I think the U is definitely back. That defense it scares me. Maybe that's just a little bit of the IU talking to me that I'd rather probably face Ole Miss than Miami because that line can just be so destructive. But I do agree. I think Ole Miss's offense is just going to be a little too much for Beck to keep up with. I think if they can make it a really murky fight, but that's what I thought was happening with Georgia. They were just going to kind of control it and basically keep it in front of them and not let them get over the top and all of that. And then all of a sudden, Ole Miss just keeps throwing haymakers, and eventually it kind of the dam breaks a little bit, and they're able to put points on the board quickly. So I think Miami, they hold them for a while, but I think eventually Ole Miss takes over probably late in that third, fourth quarter.
Yeah, it's truly going to be who can stick to their game plan the best throughout, like Tyler said, throughout the entire 60 minutes. And it's just hard. It's hard to go against Bain and that D line when they were just terrorizing Julian Sayin the entire game. Like they had one, I think they dropped 8 into coverage, 3-man rush, and they were on him in like 2 seconds. I was like, how does that even happen? And so, but yeah, I just think Ole Miss is a team of destiny. That play from Chambliss where he was like running around like a freaking video game and then chucks it downfield for a first down. I mean, that stuff. And again, is he going to be able to pull that off? But Georgia's got some good guys on that D line. I don't think he's a new quarterback to aggressive D lines playing in the SEC, even though they're dead according to Booker. But I think Ole Miss, they got a team of destiny, and I hope they keep it rolling. And Lane Kiffin gets no part of this national championship. So. Any other thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I got one more. More. Winners win. Trinidad Chambliss already has one national title in college. Georgia told Carson Beck to take a hike because he couldn't win big games. Put the mortgage on Ole Miss.
There we go.
But you heard it here. He's heading to Choctaw to put money down on that one.
Who does Chambliss have a national title with? That'd be a good trivia question there.
Is it Ferris State?
I believe Ferris State.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. National champion Chambliss.
That's a nice pull.
Very, very nice. All righty, Tyler, we will see you in a little bit to talk some NFL. Thank you for jumping in here for some Rock'em Sock'em college football. And, we'll see you in a bit. Man, it's the best time of year for football. This is just incredible time of year, playoffs, college playoffs. Booker, how's the NFL game looking? Number 1 seed. Has Sam Darnold choked away the number 1 seed yet?
He has not. So we got 10-3 game there at Levi Stadium. Seattle is up. Sam Darnold 10 for 13 for 98 yards and no turnovers. Brock Purdy is 10 for 13 as well, but for only 47 yards. And it looks like he's been sacked twice. So the main story here, though, is the run game. So would you, if I told you that Brock Purdy was the leading rusher for San Francisco, would you believe me?
I mean, I guess I'll believe you, but it doesn't sound like a good winning. I did see they're running a little read option with him some more, but that's not. I don't think that's how they draw that up in the Kyle Shanahan headquarters.
No. The San Francisco 49ers have 23 total rushing yards, and Brock Purdy has 10 of those. Christian McCaffrey has rushed it 3 times for 7 yards. On the other side of the ball, though, that's the game changer. Zach Charbonnet, 9 for 60 and 1 touchdown, and Kenneth Walker is 9 for 50. And so they've been able to play a much more balanced ball, and San Fran has been way more one-dimensional. So we'll keep you posted on that. But right now we're at halftime, 10-3 Seahawks.
I mean, we were just hinting on it, but in the playoffs, these January games, like O-line, D-line, the trenches, like if you can command the trenches, you can win games, even if the other team has a better quarterback. Like if you can dominate up front, it just, no good quarterback is good when he's got a guy in his face, in 2 seconds. So
the O-line they are unsung heroes.
Yeah. Alrighty, before we move into the NFL, again, Duffy, thank you for being a part of the show. As always, you can follow him on X, HTX Ball Co. Check out all the things that they are doing, and we'll see you next week.
Appreciate it, fellas.
Thanks, Duff. Also, nice hat. I love that hat, actually. Maybe Hondo would be willing to be one of our sponsors. That'd be pretty cool. They make some cool stuff. Hondo, yeah.
Oh, Hondo. I mean, Hondo would work too, but just not Rice Krispies.
Yeah.
All right, before we move into the NFL, again, we're here every Saturday, 6 p.m., talking college football, NFL, anything happening in the sports world, trying to build community. If you're not already subscribed on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Give us a follow on X, and feel free to hit us up with a DM. And we love talking sports with people. As always, mix it up in the comments with Booker on X. That is welcomed and appreciated. So I saw someone getting after you of like, your Diego Pavia working at McDonald's, and then he came back and like, you're working at McDonald's, man. I was like, oh man, how long did it take you to come up with that one? Like,
Yeah.
let's talk sports, people, not just.
Well, I opened the door. I opened the door to not talk sports by posting a McDonald's double arch. I get that, but and that being said, I did post back. I love I'm a Tennessee Vol, as we see here, so I don't love Vanderbilt, but what Clark Lee has been able to do over there, bro.
Yeah,
I wish we had Clark Lee. I love that guy.
I'm thankful that was December 31st, so I could end the year on a terrible take and not January 1st, because I thought Vandy was going to hand it to Iowa, and I was dead wrong on that one. So we got all our bad takes in 2025. We are smooth sailing into the new year. So, all right, let's move along here to our NFL predictions. I should have put up our season total. Maybe we'll gather that for next week. But we only have 5 games this week. It's kind of a bummer that 2 of the best games of the week were today, so we didn't really make a prediction for those. But still, some of these games have some playoff implications. So let's start Colts, Texans. In Houston, Houston Texans are favored by 10 points. Tyler, why don't you take it away on this one? Who you taking? I think we kind of know where you're leaning, but are the Texans or are the Colts going to be able to cover those 10 points?
It's a lot of points. It's a lot of points, and the season is well over for the Indianapolis Colts. It was a fun ride and a worthy sacrifice for the IU Hoosiers to take that crown and run with it. Apparently, there's some type of weird energy when 2 teams of football are the mecca in Indiana. So one had to fall so that the other could rise. And I'm fine with it. I've come to terms with it. We have the Hoosiers. I've got a brother-in-law that's from Chicago, so I can hop on the Bears bandwagon. But the Texans offense still stinks. I'm still a Colts fan. Give me the Colts covering the 10. Riley Leonard, he's ticked off that Notre Dame didn't make the playoffs, so he's going to go out there and smack the Texans in the face just to let them know that we're still here and we'll be back next year when Daniel Jones grows a new Achilles.
I love it.
Booker, who are you taking in this one?
Oh, man. I love the passion. You almost made me want to change my pick there, Tyler. I'm going Houston. They need to win this game in order to win the AFC South. You got Riley Leonard making his first NFL start against the number 1 ranked defense. I'm sorry. That's a lot of points at -10, but Riley Leonard I don't think he's just not built in this moment to face that Texans defense. The Texans have way more to play for. And fortunately, the Colts, I was on board, man, and it sucks that they had such an incredible beginning to the season and it fizzled out with some injuries. But I think Houston has more to play for here in the postseason. So give me the Texans.
So Kirk Herbstreit in the Indiana game made this comment. I was like, is that a positive thing or not? He said Fernando Mendoza is running like a baby giraffe. And I was like, huh. That's an interesting way to say it. And then as I watched him run, I was like, you know what? I see it. Riley Leonard, he can run. He can scoot a little bit. He's got a little younger legs than old Phillip Rivers. I hate to see Phillip go 0-3 in his time back. But you know what? I think the Colts cover this week and play a little spoiler. Give me some read option. Run the ball 40 times with JT, Riley Leonard. Let him cook a little bit. Don't make him throw the ball 45 times. Against an aggressive Colts or aggressive Texans defense. So I don't think the Colts will win outright, but I think they can keep it close enough to cover this 10 points, which is just a massive number. So give me the Colts to cover this week on the legs of the baby giraffe, not only for the Hoosiers, but for the Colts.
Tell them, Kevin.
That's right. All right, next up, we've got Chargers versus Broncos in Mile High. Again, the Broncos – Group Talk, if you guys are listening, I don't know how the Broncos lucked into stinking 15 home games this year, plus potential home field advantage. 13.5 points is ridiculous. Is Herbert playing in this game? I should have looked that up a little more. Do we know is Herbert playing?
He's not. Trey Lance is going to be starting.
Okay, and then is Bo Nix playing in this game? Do we know that?
To my knowledge, Bo Nix, because they're chasing the number 1 seed.
They're
so I believe
the number 1 seed, so he's playing. Okay, so that makes a little more sense. again, I'm going to start us here. I'll take the Broncos and I guess the points with the Chargers backups, even though against a Jim Harbaugh team, it feels like not a great choice. But somehow the Broncos got 13.5 home games. I think they cover by 13.5 points. So give me the Broncos this week. Booker, who are you taking in this one?
That's a huge spread. Goodness gracious. But I'm going Broncos as well. They clinched the AFC's top seed with a win. So all their starters are going to play. Justin Herbert's out, as we said. Trey Lance is starting. And Harbaugh actually said that other starters might be limited because LA's locked into a wild card. So I know that's a huge number, but I'm taking the Broncos here.
Tyler, who you got?
Yeah, we're all going to be on the same page. And I think it just comes down to what you're playing for. And I think Jim has seen his team get ravaged by injuries in the middle of the season. And as you were saying there, Booker, I think he'll probably take it easy with the starters. And the Broncos just get to run away and they get to rest their starters after that. So I think that's what it really boils down to. And I think that's why Vegas has it so high, is that they expect the Broncos looking to compete for that number one spot. So they're going to put up some points, but they're still going to want to rest their starters a little bit. So I really fully expect Sean Payton to be in his bag early, get some points up, and then call it a day.
Yeah. And just because we don't have the Patriots versus Dolphins game on here, who do you think needs the number one seed in the AFC more? Do you think it's the Patriots or it's the Broncos? They're honestly in very similar situations with young quarterbacks, newer coaches, trying to relive the glory days. But who do you think needs it more between those two teams?
That's a hard one. What do you think, Tyler?
I think the Broncos need it more, actually. And I think it comes down to Bo Nix playing on the road versus how he's kind of played at home. I just feel like he has the better advantage there. And then that defense as well. But I think it's really important to either one. I think that's why it's going to really be important for both of them to try to get wins. Because if you put a young quarterback in the home environment, obviously it's going to be a little bit better. But Vrabes knows how to just kind of make things messy. So I would trust him more on the road with Drake May than I would maybe Bo Nix.
I was going to say the same, not to just copy you, but I think that because of Vrabel, I think that they could go either way, and Vrabel knows how to pull out wins in messy ones. So could not agree more there.
Yeah, see, I'd lean the Patriots needed it more just because they have a good defense, but I think the Broncos defense can travel where the Patriots at home with that offense in the snow. I just think that's a bigger advantage to them, where I think Denver is going to be able to compete with any of the AFC teams this year, even on the road. They're going to put up, they're going to be a tough out for any of those teams. So, like we've said, it is a great thing to have. You get a bye week, you get one home game to be in the championship game to go to the Super Bowl. So it's a huge. Ever since they switched that from 2 bye weeks to 1, it is definitely a premium, and which is why these teams are fighting it out. So. All right, let's move along here. We've got Lions versus Bears. This one's near and dear to my heart. This one is very important to me. Dan Campbell, I need you to listen up, and I need you to listen up really clearly here to the Sideline Podcast, all right? I need the Lions to come out and beat down the Bears this week, because we're going to get to the Eagles and Commanders next, but that's all I need is the Bears to lose. But Booker, do you think the Bears win and cover the 3 points at home against the Lions and secure the 2 seed in the NFC this year?
I do. I'm taking the Bears here. If the Bears lose, and let's see here, and if Washington somehow wins, that'll drop them down to a number 3 seed. Also, Detroit has not played in a cold weather game since last year at Soldier Field, and obviously they play indoors at Detroit. It's supposed to be like frigid cold, and so I just don't trust Jared Goff. I think that they're probably calling it in for the rest of the season. I mean, they'll still obviously play, but they're not really playing for anything after being eliminated. So give me the Bears here. It's -3, so I can stomach that. Give me the Bears.
Tyler, who are you taking?
The Bears absolutely need it more, and even above that, I think Ben Johnson wants it. He's mad. I'm pretty sure he's real mad about what happened earlier in the season, and give him a chance at some revenge to really throw the last couple of scoops of dirt onto that coffin of the Lions season, and I think he's going to take it. I don't think he just wants to win. I think he wants to send a message that I didn't forget about that first game. So give me the Bears by 3, easy.
I forgot about that 52-21 game until you just mentioned that. So that is, oh boy, that's not making my hopes. That being said, I think Dan Campbell is going to show up, and they can't make the playoffs, but this is a way they can spoil the Bears season and go out on a high note. Also secure a winning record. Instead of being 8-9, they'll be 9-8. So I think that matters in the culture they're trying to build. And so yeah, I'm picking with my heart in the Lions, but I'd expect a heavy dose of Sonic and Knuckles. I don't think they're going to beat them down by 21 points this time, 31 points this time, but I do think the Lions are going to squeak out a win. And yes, I do need it so my Eagles can get the 2 seed. But yeah, give me the Lions in this game. Come on, Dan Campbell. Listen to the podcast. All right, let's move along here. Commanders versus Eagles. Eagles are 4.5-point favorites at home. Jalen Hurts is sitting out this game. Tanner McKee is going to start. We really got to stop. They're saving the Kelly Greens to the last week of the year, and not tooting the own horn that our team has been good lately, but it's like you can't be, using the Kelly Greens with all your backups out there. I'll start us on this one, though. 4.5 points, even with a backup quarterback. Washington Commanders have their third-string quarterback, Josh Johnson. You shouldn't lose this game. If they do, Philadelphia, don't burn the city down. It's not going to be that big of a deal. But I do think the Eagles win and cover the 4.5. Booker, tell me I'm right on this one.
I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that because I'm your friend.
Yeah,
no,
right.
I mean, I think the Eagles win, but I'm taking the points. So I think it's a last-minute field goal. After that 2 weeks ago, that 2-point conversion, let's see here. Dan Quinn said, if that's how they want to get down, we play them again in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Washington's not going to rest any healthy players, whereas Philly is going to do so. So because of that revenge narrative, I'm going Washington here.
Yeah. And before you go, Tyler, as soon as I heard Dan Quinn say that, I'm like, do not put a single starter out there on that field, because that's pretty much a coach coming out and admitting bounty gear. Like, you know what, we're going for kneecaps. Like, we're going for revenge. It was a little ticky-tack going for too late in the game, but I understood the logic. Yeah, they got their
like
punches,
a true Philly fan.
They got their punches thrown. Like, do not put any starters anywhere near that Commanders defense with their coach speaking like that. So, Tyler, what are your thoughts on this game?
Listen, you're going to squeeze out the win, and that's going to be great, but it's not going to be by 4.5. You'll still get the win that you desperately need. But yeah, I just think the Commanders have a little bit to play with here. Maybe I'm just in the mood of the underdogs or something like that. But when you get the smack talked and stuff, and I know the Bears were favored, but still Ben Johnson seems to be from that first matchup the underdog, and the Commanders are the underdog here. A little bit of Bolton material goes a long way in the NFL when you're talking about professional players and all that, and everybody gets paid and whatnot. Nobody likes to get embarrassed. That 2-point conversion stuff, some of that, like not kneeling when you should, like they take it seriously. So, give me the Commanders here to cover, but not win.
That lines up. And honestly, if McKee comes out and plays too well, I mean, there's people who want quarterback controversy in Philadelphia and want hey, we should bench Jalen Hurts and put in McKee. And it's like, just shut up. Like,
yes, shut up.
So that's where I'm like, I don't want McKee to play too well, because then people are like, oh, we should just keep him playing against, so none of that. All right, let's move along. This isn't an Eagles podcast, so I won't take too much time on that. All right, Sunday Night Football. I don't even know if we can call this the game of the week with the NFC Championship and on the line right now. But Ravens Steelers AFC North matchup, always a good one. Ravens favored by 4.5. Going on the road. Who we liking in this one, Booker? Why don't you get us started with Ravens Steelers? Who you taking?
I'm going to go ahead and take the Steelers, but I think the Ravens end up winning. This matchup is notoriously a tight one. TJ Watt is expected to return. However, I know the Steelers wide receiver DK Metcalf is still serving his suspension. Lamar Jackson is going to be back. He says he's 100%. but I think his mobility still may be limited. And because it's a true win or go home deal, I still think the Ravens get this, but I'm going to take the Steelers to cover. So give me the Steelers here.
Tyler, who are you taking?
Give me the Ravens in this one. I think they're just going to put a nail in it and call it a day on who's got that AFC North there. I think Lamar coming back is huge. Even though TJ Watt is coming back, it's tough to come off of those injuries and just make immediate impact. I think it's just a nice little way to get him limbered up and ready to go, into the offseason. But I think the Ravens cover here. I think they want to get that offense clicking a little bit and show that they still got some juice in it, get Derrick Henry some touches. So, yeah, give me the Ravens in this one.
And we talked about earlier the 1 versus 2 seed. The real reason you don't want to be – well, never mind, because this wouldn't be a wild card. So whoever wins this game is going to host a playoff game. Yep. I thought, if you get the 2 seed and you get the Ravens sitting there, that's a rough draw. But these teams are going to host a playoff game. So – if the Ravens run the ball like they did last week, I think they can cover this spread. I think Lamar being back, hopefully they realize hey, this is the solution, whether Lamar's back there or Snoop Huntley's back there. Let's run the ball with the king. It's playoff time. Lamar, you need to get running with your legs. We know you're not just a running quarterback, but that's silly to not be running the ball when you are that freaky of an athlete. And so, but I agree with Booker. I'm taking the Steelers and the points here. I think the Ravens win because I don't think they'll be as committed to the run as they should be. I mean, I'm talking 35 carries from King Henry. You just got to keep pounding the Steelers in this game, and I think that would open up this game a little more. The Ravens have a history of not running the ball when they should for whatever reason, so I think it stays close. And, give me the Steelers. All righty. One other thought I had on the NFL before we close out the show. Booker, we have any updates? Is it halftime on the NFC Championship?
No. So 6 minutes to go in the third, and it's still 10-7. San Fran has the ball. So not a high-scoring affair over there at Levi Stadium.
Yeah. The Bears and the 49ers kind of spoiled us last week with just, we're not going to play defense tonight. But the Seahawks, they don't buy that kind of shenanigans. So
no.
What are your thoughts on this? Does Myles Garrett break the all-time sack record this week? I think he needs one. He needs one sack to beat TJ Watt's record. Do we think he gets it or
no? They play the Bengals. Goodness, you go ahead, Tyler. Let me think about that.
I think he does, and he probably stacks a couple on there to go with it. The Bengals have been, throwing some punches still. They didn't let the season just completely go. But yeah, he's just such a game wrecker in this kind of game late in the season where you're not paying for much. I just think he's probably going to get him just because he has this extra game that doesn't mean anything.
Do you think so? Shador is starting, correct? He is their starter now.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
He tends to hold on to the ball too much. I do think Cleveland does not want to be the team, or Cincinnati does not want to be the team that Cleveland and Myles Garrett is able to get this record. But historically, Shador Sanders holds on to the ball way too much, trying to do way too much. So I do think he gets it as well.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. I think he gets it. I think he's deserving of it. He's the greatest edge rushing defensive end of this generation. I know TJ Watt is right there. They are 1A, 1B, but he's made in a lab of what you would want an edge rusher to be with size and speed and just all of it, and being loyal to Cleveland when they've just been horrendous. I think he has earned this record, and I really hope he gets it because, it just he's put up with so much being on the Browns that this would be a cool thing to add to his career. It'll probably get broken, next year or sometime, but it would be a cool record for him to get. So I saw one other thing, since we finished a little early tonight, so we've got some
we
time.
Did great on time.
Did great on time.
I
saw not KOC, that's Minnesota. Stefanski might be out. Since we don't want to spend too much time here on the Browns if there's any other NFL stuff you guys want to talk about, but I saw Stefanski might be out in Cleveland. Do we think Dion is rolling up in there?
Oh my gosh.
You should have picked the Eagles, man, and I'm make you go through some Browns talk. But is Dion going to be the coach of the Cleveland Browns next year?
No comment.
No comment.
I don't think there's a way that they actually bring him in. I don't know. There's just no way. I think the Dion thing works in college football. I don't think it works in a locker room full of the guys that are still doing it and everything else. I just don't think he can pull it off there. The shtick and everything, I get it. I get where he's coming from. He's marketing wizard, trying to bring kids into places, they generally don't go, like Colorado, but I just don't see it working in an NFL locker room, and I don't think they bring him on.
But if there's a team that would,
if there's a team,
would it be the Cleveland Browns?
It would be the Cleveland Browns.
On the other hand,
it would be the Cleveland Browns.
It would be the Cleveland Browns. You're right.
Because I'm not even convinced that they're concerned about winning over there. They just want to put butts in seats over there in Cleveland. So that would put butts in seats.
Yeah. Let's talk. I mean, what other NFL? We got the playoffs coming here.
Well,
like Jags. Are we believers of the Jags this year? Sorry, you had something there, Booker.
Oh, I was just gonna bring up another thing that we could talk about after the Jags question.
Yeah.
But
do we think the Jags are believers? It just yes or no, quick on that, and then we can.
Yes. Liam Cohen. I think he's got. Finally, it sounds like T-Law has finally found the serum that reminded him of his dominance in college and the player that he could be. So I'm a believer in the Jags, man. I think that they're a super solid team.
I'm a solid maybe as a totally non-biased AFC South fan. But yes, I think we're starting to see it. But here's the thing. I want to see it in the playoffs. I want to see it when the pressure's on and everything and kind of things go back on T-Law's shoulders. I do think Cohen has brought out the best of him. I just want to see if it stays that way. If he can keep that trajectory. On the other side of the ball, the defense, I think they're flying around, and that's the big piece that's going to keep them in these games. So I am mildly a believer. Let's see what happens in the playoffs.
Yeah. What about this guy, this gentleman here? Quack plays games. It looks like he's a Ducks fan, but also a Titans fan. Speaking of the Titans, Cam Ward, like with what he has at his disposal, he has been able to do so much. Are the Tennessee Titans a playoff contender next year?
So long as the infrastructure continues to be the bane of their existence, then I am hopeful that they will screw up the Cam Ward thing as a Colts fan. But that being said, Cam Ward, that guy is the real deal. And I'm very, very concerned about what his trajectory looks like over the next couple of years, depending on what the infrastructure looks like over there.
Yeah, it's the coach is going to be. I mean, we've seen it on a couple different teams, but the coaching hire is huge, and so I think that's really going to determine his trajectory of, is he stuck in a 4-year contract, 5-year contract with a coach that just can't figure it out, or a Ben Johnson type ascension for the Bears. So it's close, but it'd be interesting. His comment saying he wants to be involved with hiring the head coach, I think that is that's interesting. But it should be. In general, I'm like, probably Titans are going to be stuck in just mid for the next couple of years.
Bring Vrabel back, man. Yeah. Vrabel and Cam Ward.
There's just
I could not be happier that Vrabel was gone when Cam Ward got there.
He is not coming back. But
nope.
Baby Bill is here to stay in New England. So was that your thought there, Booker, on the Titans? Or
No. I wanted to circle back on a comment that I made earlier today. Did you watch that game, Tyler? The Bucks Panthers game?
No, I wasn't able to catch that one.
Okay, so there were a couple. I mean, the referees just inserted themselves in heinous ways in this game. Called pass interference, defensive pass interference when K. Dotton tripped over himself. And then there was another pass interference called offensive pass interference call against Ted McMillan everyone in the booth is saying like, what is going on here? So what needs to happen in the NFL? We have more technology than ever. And it seems like the mistakes made by the officiating crews are more egregious than ever. Is there a fix? If not, is this what we're stuck with for the rest of our live long lives?
I mean, I think the first thing they're not on contract still, right? The refs are not full-time employees of the NFL still to this day. I don't understand how you have a $1 billion company. You are just printing cash, but you can't hire these guys. You can't put them on the payroll and make sure that they are full career studies of the rule book, the playbook, replays. They should the off-site season for the refs should just be simply going to NFL school over the rule book, over how we should call these. We're going to look at tape. We're going to review tape. Like, we should be bringing back some of the other refs that are now analysts for other, the broadcasting stations, CBS, NBC. Everybody has their own analyst. Why? Because they can get on a payroll. They can get some health benefits. They can get some retirement. They can get things like that. Why stay in the NFL when I can go do this other job? So they got to get them on the payroll. They have got to fix this. They have got to make standards. They got to have penalties for screwing these things up, and just making sure that they're, especially in today's day and age of gambling everywhere, that there are zero questions about the refs and how they're making these calls.
Absolutely.
Fangio for the Eagles is about as old school as it gets. A real dino in the NFL. He came out this week and said we're not too far away from everything being reviewed in the NFL. And I thought that was interesting to hear him say that. So to me, it probably is coming sooner than later. I already think, hey, let's be able to review pass interference. I'm not sure why it got taken away so quickly. I know there's so many, question marks even on those getting reviewed, overturned. It's got to be clear and obvious, all that kind of stuff. But I think we're not too far off from some sort of, whether it's the eye in the sky and radioing down, hey, you can still have the zebras on the field, but someone's in their ear saying, hey, you're the mouthpiece, but we had, 15 people just look at the camera angle. This is the call. Here it is. Let's move along, keep it going. So I think we're not too far off from that.
There's got to be a way to have those 15 people in front of a camera with a red button and a green button. They throw the flag, they all watch it, and they hit the red button and the green button, and you take the consensus and radio down directly. It turns out that a radio, it's not a string with a can where it takes a while to travel. By the time the guys walk over to the flag, they should have a definitive answer. The fact that they're not doing that, yes, we don't need more pauses in the NFL. The game is already slowed down by all these reviews. But take the consensus and get wash away at least 50% of these egregious mistakes made by the officiating crew. Because, yes, the Panthers could have done better today, and they should have done better today. There were a few questionable play calls. You don't want to leave it into the refs' hands. But, I'm not convinced that today's result was not affected directly by some of it, because they were key plays on both of those missed calls. They were key moments in the game, and it was a 2-point win by the Bucs. So it's a mess, and something needs to be done. And the product is just declining, man. So
yeah,
that's what I wanted to say.
That sounds like a college homer there. The product is declining. All these.
Check this out. We got Quack Plays games, and NCAA refs are rough too. Hopefully the refs see all this. Oh gosh,
here we go. Here we go.
Hey, we should bring this guy on right now.
No.
Talk Indiana, talk Oregon. Let's just put these two on for the next 30 minutes, man.
Yeah. All righty. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in this evening, spending an hour and 6 minutes out of your busy day of football. Enjoy the rest of the NFC Championship battle for who gets the 1 seed. And, thanks for watching the show, being a part. Give Tyler a follow on X at Mr. Diesel 31, right, Tyler? 31?
Yep, you got it.
Mr. Diesel 31, schooling all those young bulls. And, hit that subscribe button on YouTube if you haven't already. We really appreciate the support of the pod. So until next time, we'll see you guys next week, 6 p.m. or same place.